Welcome everyone to Neverwinter on PC. My name is Reiner and today I will be giving a beginner's guide to staying alive. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. And if you'd like to see more information or videos about Neverwinter, hit subscribe button. Last video, the last beginner's guide, we already talked about how to make your character a lot stronger with just a tiny bit of AD. If you missed that video, make sure to watch it first. If you follow those steps, you will already feel much stronger and less prone to dying. I opted to make this video because I noticed my alts, with all the companion gear and stuff, they were getting absolutely destroyed on the new map Avernus. Of course, enemies here have higher ratings again, so, they do a lot of damage. Especially when playing solo, I was getting wrecked and using a lot of health potions. I made a couple of changes, and now these toons, even though maybe even their item level went down a bit, they are fully capable of soloing on this map, and some of them can even do small heroics after the changes. Now, I'm not saying your character can solo small heroics after these changes, but you should feel a lot less squishy. This is also not just endgame, also when you're in lower levels or on other maps, you can do these changes and you will die a lot less quick and use a lot less health potions, which cost gold. Just like last time, these changes are not super expensive ones, otherwise I would not call this a beginner's guide. The video is also not intended for super endgame characters, because those characters will just kill stuff too fast for those enemies to really become an issue. This is for newer players who have followed the power guide and who still feel they die too fast or just use up way too many health potions. With the steps in this video, you will be using a lot less of them, and in some cases none at all anymore. So I have actually 4 things that we have to talk about. The first thing actually does not cost any AD. This first point is all about positioning. Mod 16 made some combat changes, and I noticed that enemies really try to get combat advantage. Let me first explain to you what combat advantage means. If you have combat advantage if you and an ally are on opposing sides of an enemy. So let's say you're here. This soul puppet is an enemy and someone is on the other side of the soul puppet. You and your ally will have combat advantage on this soul puppet. This also applies to enemies. If you are standing here, you have one enemy on this side, one on the other side, those 2 enemies will have combat advantage. What does this mean? Well, it basically means those enemies will do up to twice the damage. And that's painful. That can be very painful. There is one way to counteract this combat advantage with stats. You can do that with awareness. As you can see, I don't have a lot of awareness compared to the other stats. Typically, you don't want to look at awareness too much. It's mostly a dump stat, and you can remove combat advantage just by moving in a smart way. So let me show you real quick what I mean with enemies will really try to get combat advantage. If we go to these enemies here and I attack one, they will start attacking me, and as you can see, this imp went to one side and this brigand went to the other side, and these will actually have combat advantage right now. Now these are just simple small enemies. If you move out of the way, if you just move back a little bit, they will not have combat advantage anymore. Well, now they're fighting my soul puppet. He's not in between, so he's not getting extra damage. but typically what you want to do is just move out of that area, just move back a little bit. If you're standing here and those two are hitting you, you will not get combat advantage damage anymore. Of course, they will also move, so you have to keep getting out of their combat advantage. So that's just an easy trick. Make sure your positioning in a fight is in such a way that you do not give the enemy extra damage in the form of combat advantage. So that's the first and cheapest thing on the list, because it doesn't cost any AD. It's just a little bit of training, a little bit of skill. The next thing that I want to talk about, and yes, so in the last video I already proposed to buy a certain companion, the Energon. It's not actually an augment, as I said in the video, oopsie. You can also buy different ones, just try to buy something with a level as high as possible. Anyway, the Energon, as I already said, it gives additional HP when put in this utility slot. I don't have it on this character, but a different one you can get is the Pig Companion. So what it says here, the Pig Companion, if you equip it in a utility slot, it only fits in utility, and of course you have to have it unlocked, but you will get 2% of your max HP healed every second you are controlled. And being controlled is something that happens really often, especially later game. Enemies will knock you prone, they will stun you, they will root you, they will snare, they will confuse. They have a lot of ways to control you. And if you have this slotted, you will get a lot of HP back while you are controlled, which is very nice. Now, in the last video I noticed, after I posted it, that the companion that I proposed to buy, it was the Energon back then, let me see, it went up in price quite ridiculously. It's already down a little bit again, but it was, I think, at like 8k when I made the video, and now it's 4 times as expensive. I think something similar might happen with the Pig Companion. So what I did is I already bought quite a few of them. If you are a newer player and you need a Pig Companion, please let me know in the comments, contact me on Discord, whatever. I will give you one for free, no problem. I'll just give you one, because I don't think that's really nice. I'm not making this video for people to make a profit, so that's why I just bought quite a few of them. So that's to counteract that. The next thing, and this is actually even more important than a Pig Companion, is Insignia bonuses. Insignia bonuses, end game, there aren't that many good ones, but for this topic there are actually a couple of great ones. You have, let me show you what I have on here. So we have Insignia bonuses that, for example, when stunned, knocked or immobilized, so this is also controlled, receive a heal over time. And this heals you for 5% of your maximum hit points over 5 seconds. So you get 1% hit points per second every time you get knocked around, which is great. Then also Barbarian's Revelry, on a critical strike receive a heal. Again, you will do critical strikes pretty often if you have the correct companion gear, and every time you critical strike you get 1% of your maximum hit points back. Then another one that's very good, whenever you deflect receive a heal over time. So this is also whenever you deflect, this can happen quite often, you are healed for 1% of your maximum hit points. I am not saying these in this order because this is the order in which you should get. So first try to get your Oppressor's Reprieve, then Barbarian's Revelry, and then Survivor's Blessing. So in order to get these insignia bonuses, you have to slot a certain type of insignia. and not all mounts can slot the same insignias. So which mounts do you need to get these insignia bonuses? Well, I've made a small overview here. I hope it's readable. For Oppressor's Reprieve, so that's the stunned, knocked, immobilized, the most important one, you have to have one of these mounts. I have here the Griffin. The medium Snow Swift horse would be the cheapest one. If all of these are too expensive, you can go for the baby version of this insignia bonus, which is Oppressor's Respite, where you need one of these mounts, which are a lot cheaper. Then Barbarian's Revelry, the second one on the list, you need one of these mounts. Whoops. Okay, that's interesting. I can write in here, whatever. So the Twilight Yeti you could have gotten for free if you were playing in the Winter Festival, for example. Polar Bear, I'm not sure where to get it, but you have two options of a rare one. Maybe you already have an epic one, could also be the case. Slot one of these and you can get this insignia bonus. The Barbarian's Delight is the baby version of Barbarian's Revelry. It's a little bit weaker, but it also is requires a cheaper mount. Then Survivor's Blessing, you require one of these mounts, and the baby version of that is Survivor's Gift, which requires one of these mounts. So how do you get a insignia bonus? For Oppressor's Reprieve, you need to slot 1 Crescent and 2 Illuminated. For Barbarian's Revelry, you need to slot 2 Enlightened and a Crescent. And Survivor's Blessing, you need to slot 2 Crescents and 1 Barbed. Now, you have different qualities of insignias from uncommon up until legendary, and it actually does not matter at all which quality you slot here. The insignia bonus will be the same strength if this is uncommon or legendary. So, and these uncommon ones cost below 180, so it's super cheap. The mounts could be a little bit more expensive. There are a couple other ones that were not on that list, like Champion's Return and Gladiator's Gall, which are also pretty good. I actually, in the Pocket Wiki, also marked which ones are good to get. So here's the insignia bonuses page, and the primary stay alive insignia bonuses, as I call them, are the light green ones, which are here. Gladiator's Gall is also kind of a primary one. It's pretty good because you get more stamina to dodge and more movement speed, which is all good to get good positioning. And then secondary ones are the ones that you can also slot if you want. They are not that good as the other ones, but also good to stay alive. So that's that. Insignia bonus is also very important. The last point that I want to address is you can also, and this is not constantly active, but if you are in a tricky situation and you're about to die, you can slot an active artifact which can heal you or give you additional defense or additional protection statistics. There are a couple of them, for example the Wheel of Elements or the Sigil of the Paladin. You should not have to rely on that, but it is another way to stay alive. As you can see, I'm using the Soul Side Crystal. It's not going to make me more tanky, but yeah. I don't think I have one that gives me... Oh, here. It also increases your damage and reduces incoming damage by 6 to 14% for 10 seconds. So you can also slot this, for example, to be more tanky in a tricky situation. Just saying. So now to show you combat a little bit, let's go to a tricky spot. So, I'm on Avernus now, and I'm going to show you a little bit of how good I can survive on this map. As you can see, my item level is just above 20,000, which is just above the recommended item level of Avernus, so I am by no means overcapped. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull a couple of enemies like these here and these, and then we're going to see how we fare in a fight. As you can see, my health is pretty full and it stays full. I'm also killing the enemies pretty quick here. Okay, maybe a bad example. But as you can see, even after this fight, my health is still completely full. And that's because of the Insignia bonuses. Let's pull some more. So like these. Make sure to not give them combat advantage. Stay and make sure that all the enemies are on one side. See, I lost a little bit of HP here. But I will keep regaining HP from all of my Insignia bonuses. As you can see, I barely lost anything. I'm pretty tanky here. So this should help a lot for people who are struggling. If I can do this on this warlock on this map, then you can also do this on different maps. Oh, we have the Bargura. Anyway, that's basically it for this video. I hope this will help you. As I said before, if you need a pig or maybe even one of the horses, maybe I have some, contact me, give me a shout, and go to my Discord. Probably that's the easiest way to contact me, I think, and I will hook you up with a pig companion, no problem, all for free. If you have any remarks on this video or any suggestions on what to investigate next, feel free to leave a comment below and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next video.